Here's how you never want to start a sales call unless you want to lose a ton of deals. Come over here to the vibe board. I'm going to show you this is very important, okay? First of all, you don't want to sound scripted. I hear and see so many salespeople that when they first start that conversation, whether it's inbound or outbound, they're super excited, or they're flat like a monotone robot telemarketer, okay? You want to be in the middle. You want to sound like the expert. You want to be relaxed. You want to be confident. And you still want to be neutral. Like you're not quite sure you can help yet. You don't know enough information about that. Otherwise, you're going to trigger what's called fight or flight mode, and they're going to try to get rid of you very quickly, okay? Now, let me show you some specific examples. Let's say in this example, you have an inbound book lead and you're meeting them on Zoom. There's always going to be tweaks, whether you call, meet them virtually, or meet them in person, okay? The numbers game approach, this is what you don't want to do, is, hey, Sally, how you doing today? Ah, yeah, great. And where do you live? Oh, we live in Atlanta. I love Atlanta. Atlanta's so cool. How's the weather over there? See, most salespeople have been taught to build rapport like this, but what you're not understanding is that these are predictable questions that every salesperson that's tried to sell them anything always starts the conversation with. So what that does is it lowers your status in their mind, where they just view you as a salesperson trying to sell them something. You don't want to sound like everybody else. So what you want to focus on is more of the skills game approach, okay? I want to focus on the end result. Now the skills game approach is right here. Let's say if you sold solar in this example, I'm going to focus on the end result. The first thing I want to do is get them to let their guard down. So let's say the prospect talks first when you get on Zoom and they say, hey, how you doing today? Instead of you saying, I'm doing good, which doesn't really do anything for you, you want to make them laugh, okay? So I don't want to be the class clown, but I might say, oh, you know, just being the boring guy over here. What about you? What's going on in your neck of the woods? Now notice I said that with a playful tone, okay? Not a serious tone, but a playful tone. Now, why do I want to do that? Because it releases dopamine in your prospect's brain, which triggers the prospect to laugh. This is how you disarm the prospect. It's just a disarming technique. And then I'm going to get right into results-based thinking. That's, once again, let's say if I sold solar. Okay, so looks like you booked on the counter about looking at ways to, I guess, lock in your rate and maybe even lowering your bill, right? Now, if I sold solar, what am I focused on? End result, lock in your rate, lowering your bill. Notice how I'm getting them immediately into results-based thinking over price or cost-based thinking. Okay, looks like you booked on the counter about maybe looking at building your brand to really scale your business, right? If I sold business consulting or brand consulting or marketing agency, let's say if I sold financial services or life insurance. Okay, so it looks like you booked on the counter about maybe some different options to financially protect your family when you pass away, right? Like if I sold life insurance. See how I'm getting them into results-based thinking immediately over price or cost-based thinking. Now, there is a lot more to that. You're probably going to have questions, and sometimes I just don't have time to get to all those questions. So I'm going to give you my number. Go ahead and text me right here. I'm going to be here for a while. It's 480-637-2944. Go ahead and text me. I will text you back. Keep it sales related, and I will answer your questions. Hope that helped you.